Hi friends, it's Suzanne here from sunstampin.com. I'm a Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator. I want to welcome you to my weekly Wildcard Wednesday video on my blog and YouTube channel. The card designs I share today are a little more technique driven, but nothing too complicated. I also sell the products I feature in this video. I hope you enjoy my free video tutorial and would love to see you shop with me. For today's card, I am featuring the stamp set Coming Home, as well as the Itty Bitty Christmas for the sentiment, and I am also going to be using the Home Together dies. I have my Stamparatus here, and I have all of the images from the Coming Home stamp set. This is Fluid 100 watercolor paper. I treated it with my embossing buddy, and I have inked up the stamps with Versamark ink because, yep, you guessed it, I'm going to heat emboss. So Versamark ink is a clear sticky ink, and it will hold this white Stampin' Emboss powder. As you can see, I'm sprinkling it on my Fluid 100 watercolor paper. I'm using my heat tool to set the embossing powder. So embossing powder is just plastic basically, and it melts, and you have to make sure that it is completely melted because we're going to be adding water to this watercolor paper, so you don't want it to be half melted. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just heating up till I see that the embossing powder is nice and shiny, and we're ready to go. I'll set that aside to cool for a moment, and then I will go over the ways to use watercolor pencils. So the first way is to apply your pencil to the paper and then wet it with a paintbrush, or in this case, I am using a water painter and activating the watercolor pencil. The second way is to scribble on the watercolor pencil and then pick it up with a paintbrush or a water painter and then apply it to your project like this. And then the third way is to actually take your watercolor pencil and apply your paint brush or your water painter to the nib or the pencil, and then apply your color that way. Now I know that I've done a paper pumpkin video in the past, and a lot of folks said that they didn't know, weren't feeling comfortable or anything like that. So I'm going to share that with you. And then the fourth way is applying water to your project and then coming in with your pencil. So that's what I did on the small house. All right, and then now we can move into blending. One of my favorite things to do is blending with watercolor pencils. So I started off with yellow, I went to orange, and now we will do red. And it's easiest to do this going from light to dark. And if you have a little scrap of paper or a baby wipe or a paper towel or something off to this side, where if you pick up too much of the dark color, you can wipe it off before you come in to the light color. And basically it all dries very smoothly. So all you have to do is activate it, and it's awesome. So here I am using a brown and sort of the Cajun Craze, I believe. So I'm not mixing these two colors. I want them to be separate. And then what I will do on all of the houses actually is create some contrast from their background. So I will go in with this happens to be, I think it's Balmy Blue or Pool Party or something. It's just a blue, and blue works best, I feel. And I've sort of scribbled a line around the house. Now I'm activating it and watercoloring it out, like washing it out, so that you can just see a little bit of the blue behind. So what this does, I know that I'm going to be die cutting this, so it's just going to give some contrast against that white embossed outline. So it looks finished. I don't know why, but it works. Okay, so now I'm just going to be coloring all of the houses in, playing around with the colors. I did like the going from light to dark. I'm not necessarily trying to make it look ombre, but I do sort of want to have the houses look like they have dimension. One other thing is that what I do show you in the video, what I didn't show you was that I did apply Wink of Stella to the houses, and I did it off camera and at the end. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it can move the color again. So make sure it's completely dry before you add your Wink of Stella or any kind of glitter or what have you, because it certainly can affect the outcome. And if you have too much water, what the trick is, and you just saw me do it just there, is that you go in with a thirsty brush. So a brush tip that has less water on it than the page, and you sort of soak up the water that is on your page or on your project. So say if you added too much water, you take a thirsty brush and it actually does help. So because my blue ran over, I'm going to make an effort now to make sure that I'm covering that on the roof tiles. And this gives me just an opportunity to play around with some of the techniques and mix and match the techniques. And you can see my little piece of paper here off to the side so that I can, if my brush needs to be cleaned, or if I'm picking up too much weird color, I can just wipe it off on a little extra piece of paper, or a baby wipe would work, what have you. Here I'm coloring the tree, and I'm going to be blending it before I even hit it with the water. And now I've hit it with the water, and you can definitely see that there is a lovely blend going on. And now I'm taking that same color and applying it to the smaller tree. I'm having fun and I'm sped this up like 4 times, guys. So you can imagine how slow I'm actually going. If this seems like real time to you or just a little bit fast, it's 4 times as fast. I always play a game with my best friend, and we have punch buggy. So anyone who drives a punch buggy, please know that my best friend and I are punching each other in the arm going, punch buggy, no return. We actually, because my best friend's a guy, I've asked him not to punch me anymore. So we just call out the name. And then if we call the name out at the same time, we have to clarify by going punch buggy, no return, new style or old style. And then if we say that at the same time, then we have to say, like, give more description, like of the color or of the punch buggy itself. And it's hard if you want to really outsmart your fast-speaking friend, I should say. Anyway. That was just a little funny thing. My arm started hurting after a while. So, and anyway, so I've been coloring away, definitely having fun here. And you can see sometimes I could wet the paper and then come in with the pencil. I don't like doing that, but it does give a darker impression. I definitely I think my favorite way is to apply the color and then use my painter. And this is watercolor paper. So once the color is on there, if you wanted to go and enunciate the colors, you can. You just have to wait till it's dry. So a good example of this will be this orange and pink house. That's what I ended up doing. You can see how much water I'm here activating these 2 colors. So I had to wait for it to dry before I could intensify the stripes on the roof and these stripes here, and just a little bit of the washed out pink color on the top. Anyway, you'll see that in a second. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you're getting your Christmas projects all finished up. This is the last week for me to do Christmas projects. I think it's just so close to Christmas, and I know that you all will have all your projects up and running, so it's kind of a moot point talking about Christmas or sharing Christmas ideas. That's why this video is more about a technique so much as it was the card design. And I think I'm almost finished with my coloring, and you can see what I'm doing here is I'm giving everybody a background, or trying to anyway. And then I actually had to let this dry, and the battery, or was it the space on my camera was going out. So this is another day. This is the next day. And I have my my dies out, and I'm using platform 1, platform 2, and the 2 acrylic plates for my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I like to call it the SuNN machine. I've heard other people call it the Big Boss. I think it's a little bit too much like Big Shot, but that's okay. You guys can call it whatever you like. And you can see what I'm doing here. I waited till this was bone dry. So like I said, the next day it was sitting on my desk drying. It might have kitty paws on it or cat hair or something, but it was the next day when I cut this. And this Fluid 100 paper is so very nice. It's very similar to Arches cold press watercolor paper. If you have played around with watercolor before, you know that Arches is the best. I only go in with my Michaels 50% off because the Arches cold press paper is like close to $100 here in Canada if you wanted a nice block. And this Fluid 100 paper is cotton as well. It is lovely. It is takes a run for its money, the Arches cold press. So it's a thoroughly stamp of approval from me. All right, and here I'm going in with that purple now, just to solidify and to deepen that color of that pink and orange house. Like I suggested, this is bone dry, so I can go in, I can add some extra colors and dimension. It was just a little too washed out for me. And then I go in with my water painter, and I can just reactivate that ink, or the watercolor pencil, I should say. It's paint. Is it paint? I think it's paint. Well, pigment. We'll say pigment and then encompass everything. And then that just added just a little bit extra dimension, and it wasn't so washed out for me, and I liked it a lot better. All right, so pushing that off to the side, let's get this card going. This is Whisper White Thick card stock. I have some, these are Post-it notes, and I know everybody has Post-it notes. So I am just lining them up on the crease. And I have my grid mat, which is laminated. I have laminated my Stamparatus grid paper, just one sheet, so that I can have a non-porous surface in which to work with. I have Balmy Blue here, and my new, these are Stampin' brushes, or yes, I'm blending brushes is what they're called. They will be new in the the January to June catalog. Stampin' Up is selling them 3, I think, for $16 Canadian. So really affordable. I'm planning on getting one for every color of the rainbow and then just using it that way. And I have blended it on my card base. And this is a die that comes with the, let's see, Home Together dies. And it has trees and everything. I just want the swoop of the hill. So I'm cutting off the trees, and then I'm going to use that blending brush again. And I'm just going to touch the top part of the curvy part of the hill. And that non-porous surface on this grid mat is so nice because I can pick up the ink and I can, it's not making my work surface all dirty. So, and it's small enough, I can put it off to the side and clean it in a minute. So you can see what I've done here. I've made a sky and I've also made a snow hill with my Stampin' Seal Plus, because this is watercolor paper. It is thick paper. So that big house goes down first. Then my second biggest house goes down. And I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus, trying to give it different height, and I definitely want to sort of fill the entire scene out. So I'm scene building. So this house, my purple and orange house that has been twice painted, has 3 dimensionals on its roof and just Stampin' Seal on its bottom part. And this is my big tree, and it's going next to the tall house, just putting it on flat on the card. And then the small tree is going next to the orange and pink house. And punch buggy, no returns, blue, is right in front of the big house. And then I go back with my blending brush, and I am just giving this is a stitched circle from the Stitched Shapes. I forgot to mention that. And I just have had some of these circles running around from a previous project. So that's the reason why you didn't see me die cut it. But it was just in a little cup off to the side. And I was able to put the From Our House to Yours wish front and center. And up on dimensionals as well. And then, so I had to look this up because I didn't know where this gold trim is from. So this is from the Forever Greenery combo pack. It comes with a beautiful soft linen ribbon. And then there's also this gold ribbon as well. And this is the metallic trim. So I sort of rolled up my glue dot and stuck it right to the bottom of that stitched circle. And did I mention I put that on dimensionals? And then I'm going to adhere my gold bow. I made it so tiny. And then with my special scissors, I've never had ribbon scissors before, but you can see they have a little red ribbon to remind me that they're ribbon scissors. And boy, do they ever cut ribbon well. Never touched paper, I can promise you that. I'm folding my card in half, and I noticed that I have a little bit of white showing. That's okay. I will just go over with my blending brush, and you can barely tell now. And that is my share for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you again soon. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf for my blog, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.